When I was a kid, I remember literally choking on a Brussels sprout. It was boiled, mushy, smelly, and flavorless. So I avoided Brussels sprouts with a 10-foot pole until I was old enough to cook them for myself. Now I am a crazy Brussels sprouts monster. So I was at the produce store and I went a little Brussels sprouts happy. So I knew it was time to cook up my sausage and Brussels sprout spaghetti. It's lemony, a little bit creamy, and satisfying. So put on a pot of water and I'll show you how to make it. For the sausage and Brussels sprout spaghetti, you're gonna need hot Italian sausage, shallots, Brussels sprouts, garlic, a tomato, a lemon, Parmesan cheese, and spaghetti. I have a pound of hot Italian sausage, my secret weapon of choice. If you get the ones with the casings already removed, then that's good too. It's just a little bit pricier, so I tend to stick with this. And you're gonna remove it out of the casings, and you could do it two different ways. You can go like this, and just peel off the skin, the casing. Or you can go like this, and kind of twist it like toothpaste, and just pop it out like that. This sausage is so flavorful. So I like to use it instead of ground beef or as a mixture with ground beef or ground turkey, because it's already seasoned and the spiciness works perfectly. So if you can't find hot Italian sausage, just use regular Italian sausage and add some red pepper flakes. In a dry pan, make sure it's large, add your sausage, and I didn't add any extra oil. And you're just going to kind of stab it and break it up with your utensil, whatever you use. So what I did before I started all this was take half a pound of spaghetti, which is half a box, and cook it in salted boiling water just until it's about 2 minutes shy of being done. So just read your package instructions and then just drain it and don't rinse it. And the water needs to be salted so that the spaghetti has flavor. And before I drained it, the important part is that I pulled out half a cup of the cooking water. And that's gonna act kind of as your binder, which helps adhere the sauce to the pasta. And it also ends up being your sauce. So remember to pull it out before you drain it. See some of that delicious oil coming out of it? And it's all seasoned and spicy. You could work side by side, do the pasta while you're doing your sauce, and it kind of times out good. But I just felt like doing it in advance, so I didn't have to worry about it. Okay, at this point, when the sausage is nearly done, see it's still pink, but some of it is crusty and brown, you can make a little space for yourself right here in the center. That's why it's important to use a big pan. And add your 3 shallots that were just sliced, and let it sweat and turn translucent, soften up a little bit in the sausage oil. And you can actually cook it together. I like using shallots because I think that it kind of tastes like caramelized onions when it cooks. So it's sweeter and it works perfectly with the hot sausage. This sauce is really easy to make. It's just that it takes a couple of steps, and it's important to follow through with my steps because there's always a reason to my madness. I like to cook the sausage and shallots first because, again, like I said, there's a little bit of oil that comes out. So then when you add your Brussels sprouts with garlic next, it kind of takes up some of that oil. So I like that. Why does this make me so happy? Okay, we're done here. So I'm just gonna temporarily turn this off the heat and put it back on the plate. And you could leave a little bit of that residue in there. That's perfect. I'm mincing up 3 cloves of garlic because I always mince up 3 cloves of garlic. There's nothing better than sauteing Brussels sprouts with salt, pepper, and garlic, except for if you saute them in bacon. Now the star of the show, my Brussels sprouts. I'm just trimming off the stems, the end parts. And you see all these like little leaves that are flying off of it? Throw those out because sometimes they're damaged, sometimes they're whatever, so just discard them. So I don't have an exact amount of how many Brussels sprouts I'm using, but what I do is I measure it out in a measuring cup and kind of chop as I go along. And I'm just gonna slice these up thinly. When you get to this part, don't be a hero. Turn it on its side. Go like that. Shredding Brussels sprouts makes it so much more palatable and more friendly for everybody. So even people who think they don't like Brussels sprouts, they end up saying they like Brussels sprouts. That's 1 cup. We're aiming for 3 cups of sliced and trimmed Brussels sprouts. I have a recipe on my blog that's kind of similar to this pasta I'm making now. It's my pasta with sausage and kale. And so you could always use kale if you didn't want to use Brussels sprouts. But this, believe me, I don't know what it is. The combination just really works. It's like Thanksgiving spaghetti in a way. If you wanted to make a simple side dish for Thanksgiving instead of throwing this into a pasta, you could just do this, shred this up, throw it with some garlic and salt and pepper, and there's your side dish right there. And that was 3 cups. To your same magical pan, you're gonna add a tablespoon of oil. You're probably thinking, wait, isn't there some oil in there? Yes, but not that much. So you need some fresh oil. And over medium-high heat, you're just gonna add your Brussels sprouts and minced garlic together. Add some salt and pepper. Don't be too stingy or too generous at this point. Now, the funny thing is that I'm kind of obsessed about keeping Brussels sprouts bright green. And it's kind of a hard feat, I must admit. So there are several times where I cook with Brussels sprouts and they do turn brown. So what I do is, like I said, there's a method to my madness. I'm gonna just saute them until they're nicely coated and start to wilt slightly, crisp tender. And you know, there are gonna be some crunchy bits in your pasta because of the stems. So if you don't like that, then you can even leave some of the stems out or cook the stems first. But I like the texture in the pasta. So for me, this is about as long as I go. If you want it to be softer, you can go longer. But this is good for me. Garlic, right? Oh man. It's gonna take some willpower to not wanna just grab a fork and stab right at it. See? And it cleaned out the bottom bits and absorbed into there. You toss your sausage and shallots back in with all of the juice that comes out. And then I have a medium tomato, which I diced up. And yeah, I know tomatoes aren't not really that in season right now, but that's fine because you're just looking for the fresh acidic quality of it. And this is especially good if you have a tomato that's about to go bad. Now I'm in the mood for tacos. And we're just gonna toss it together so it softens slightly. But I like to throw this in last minute because I like the big chunks of tomatoes where you can see it. We have our drained spaghetti. It might be a little clumpy because I did this in advance, that's fine. Or it might be a really clumpy, like a big hot mess, like this. But that's okay too. That's what this water is for. It loosens it up and it makes a sauce. So we have half a cup of the reserved salted starchy cooking water before we drain the pasta. Throw that on there and grab some Parmesan cheese. Did you know that if you wrap up Parmesan cheese in parchment paper in a Ziploc bag, it actually stays fresh much longer? And I'm gonna eyeball half a cup. Really, it's up to you. Remember, Parmesan cheese does add a little bit of salt too, so you don't want to go super crazy with this. We have a lemon, and I'm just gonna zest it. If you guys don't have one of these fine graters, then really I suggest investing into one, because the zest of a lemon is what has the most flavors. It's where all the essential oils are. So if you're gonna use lemon in anything, you might as well zest it first. Kind of feels like you get more for your money. Freshness and brightness. This is my secret of keeping the Brussels sprouts nice and green. You know that acid makes greens turn brown. And that kind of drives me nuts, even though I love acid on greens. So I'm just gonna throw the lemon right on top of the pasta instead of the Brussels sprouts. Smart, right? Give it a roll. Okay, make sure you catch the seeds. I have a really tiny lemon, so I'm using a full one. If you have a really big, fat, juicy lemon, just use about half, taste it, and then decide if you want more. I love lemon on pasta. This is what brings it to life. Juicy, juicy. If you were working side by side and doing the pasta at the same time, then this would go along easier for you and wouldn't clump like this. That's why it's important to cook your spaghetti about 2 minutes shy of it being done, because as it cooks more in the sauce, it absorbs all of that beautiful flavor. You'll be surprised at how much flavor this pasta actually has when it looks so simple. Get in there. Go drink up that sauce, you. Oh, my arm's starting to hurt. It's okay. Get a little bit of a workout before you eat it. I'm going to give it a taste just to check for seasoning. It's good because I salted my water. So actually I don't need to add any more extra salt and pepper. But if you want it, you can. It's shiny, glistening, and has absorbed all the sauce. So now at this point, your Brussels sprouts, shake them in there. Beautiful. Just a quick, small, little friendly toss, because you know me and my obsessiveness of it staying green. That's it. I'm gonna eat right off my Brussels sprout plate. There's no need to dirty up another plate. This is a thing of beauty. It looks so fresh and vibrant. Give it a whirl, or give it a twirl. The first thing that hits you is the lemon, the cheese, a little bit of the spice from the spicy sausage, but it's actually not spicy at all. And then the fresh crispness of the bright Brussels sprouts. Okay, mid-noodle, let's talk about some substitutions. Like I mentioned before, you could always use kale or any other kind of green that you feel like, but it is a Brussels sprouts pasta, so I don't know why you do that. If you didn't have hot Italian sausage, you could use any other kind of ground beef that you want, but then you would have to go ahead and season it a little more with some spicy pepper flakes and salt and pepper and things like that. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. So remember to push like, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Happy Thanksgiving to me. So good. Can't stop eating.